Well, if you're a regular listener to Money Talks, and by the way, if you're not, we'll come to your door and force you to listen. But if you're a regular listener to Money Talks, you've heard over the last while, we talked to Peter Grandich, we talked to Kevin Muir, we talked last week to James Thorne, and all of them had the same theme to some degree. But one of the things they agreed on was junior silver, junior gold, their turn is coming. And we've seen that somewhat in the market. In fact, we've seen it with Silver North Resources, who I've got Jason Weber on with me right now. He's the CEO, president of Silver North. But Jason, your stock's basically doubled since you chatted with us at the World Outlook Conference. So, I mean, you've already felt that beginning. But I wanted to talk with you about that junior resource thing. And I'll start with a broad question. Have you noticed a change in attitude toward the junior resources? I mean, as opposed to never look at them, as I say, big name, successful analysts now talking about that sector.
Mike, yeah, first of all, pleasure to be on with you again. But yes, we definitely have seen a change in attitude towards the junior companies. We can get more calls into the investment
Mm-hmm.
groups that we want to talk to. That's definitely happened. But I think you hit the nail on the head in your intro, just saying our stocks doubled since your conference in February. And that's we haven't put out results. We haven't done any drilling. That's all based on interest in our company because of the silver price. And so definitely attitudes are changing. And I use the analogy or the example of my hockey team, my men's hockey team. If they're talking about silver and gold in the dressing room in an investment sense, I know we're starting to come somewhere. We have seen a little bit of that. Guys have asked me, hey, prices really moved. Nobody's asked me that for years. So I think we are seeing that change, and it's right from funds down to the retail investor.
And let me ask, I mean, when you look at that and being a junior yourself and doing, you're already active. So the price of silver doesn't change your activities. I mean, that's something that's also of interest usually to people who are not in the business is no, you've got projects underway. You've got drilling underway. It's nice, to have the silver price up, as you say, because whether you're raising more money, just the interest, seniors will start looking. But it is interesting that doesn't change your drilling profile at this point. You're still active and we're active.
Exactly. And for us, for junior company, what's the best only way for us to add value? It's to make a discovery. We
Mm-hmm.
kind of look at it, doesn't matter what the silver price is. If we find high grade, silver ounces, those are going to have value. That's our best method to add value for our investors. Now, when the silver price starts to move, you're just afforded more capital to go make those discoveries. So maybe our programs are a little bigger, a little more robust. Maybe it's a little easier to raise that money, but yeah, it certainly doesn't have a an effect on how we explore or what we explore for. We're a silver explorer, and it doesn't really matter what the price is.
Tell me a little bit about Silver North Resources in there, because it's instructive for people to understand uh, the whole process in terms of timelines, raising capital, what you hope to come out of it, as you say, proved up reserves, and then what's next.
Yeah, it's for Silver North, we really want to focus on big districts where there's district scale silver potential. Where a company like Hecla or Coeur uh, Mining, two of the biggest silver producers in North America, can build a mine and be operating there for decades, and that's kind of the tack we take. So our project, Haldane, is located in the Keno Hill Mining District of Central Yukon. That's over 100-year-old mining district. So Hecla is the prime operator in the district. So we look at finding Hecla style deposits, and that's really what it comes down to for us. Now, you think it's a 100-year-old district, they've picked over it, all the best has been found. But in fact, uh, we're on the western end of the district, largely underexplored. We're finding brand new veins. We've made three new vein discoveries in the last 3, 4 years in a 100-year-old district. So that's, I think, one of the really exciting things for us is the fact that we can go out, make a discovery right next to existing mines, and use those mines, those deposits as templates for what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So this can be a slow process, as from coming up with concepts, drilling, uh, defining a target, drilling it, and once you drill it and you made a discovery, you have to now drill that out, figure out how big it is, do your economics. This is a 10, 15-year process to get something into a mine. I wouldn't say short circuit, but we can certainly accelerate that by having Hecla as our next door neighbor and using their knowledge and what's out in the public to advance our exploration. So it's a really interesting situation to be in a old district like we're in and making brand new discoveries.
Well, I would also think having the infrastructure there, that's a real challenge in some of the other areas, looking at stuff's going on in Ontario, Northern Ontario, and it might be a good site and good results starting to come, but you still need the infrastructure. So I would think, I hear what you're saying about having an older area, but at least that area will also you won't be wondering how you get the infrastructure. I mean, once you get stuff going.
Yeah, no, it's massive. The power line that leads to the mill for Hecla's operation goes through one corner of our property. It's call it 5 kilometers away from where we're drilling. We have highway access right up to our road onto the property. And then, the other part of it is just the expertise and knowledge in the region. You have contractors you can draw upon who know the area. That all that infrastructure, supporting infrastructure is in place. So yeah, that adds a tremendous amount of value for us as explorationists.
Let me ask a broad-based question to finish here, because there's so much naivety floated around by politicians. You could call it something else, but I'll call it naivety. When they start talking about critical minerals or any other, it could be a copper, it could be a silver, etc. And they all act like you could turn a light switch and we'll have that mine up and running in around 15 minutes, according to us. The process, people just seem to be so naive about the permitting process and all that it takes. So just give me, if you were having to give a ballpark, we're going to put you on Jeopardy. And I say, how long does it take from, the beginnings to a producing mine, just on average?
I'm going to say we used to say it was 5 to 10 years. I'm going to say it's 10 to 15 now. I think that's and for some of it, it's just the detail that we go in on the economic side, but permitting takes longer now than it used to. Um, so these things all combine to make this a much slower process. And the raise a really important point. When our government decided we were going to build battery plants in Eastern Canada, great, but did nothing to support the actually finding of the metals to feed those battery plants so we could actually build batteries there. So, and like you say, it's not coming on in 15 minutes. And so I think these are destined for failure. You need to be supporting at the front end, have as much exploration going on as you can so that you can feed projects like that. And yeah, and it's not getting shorter. Timeframes aren't getting shorter. That's for sure.
Well, as you guys, I know Silver North Resources well on their way at this point, and plus you're adding properties. You got new veins, as you said, 3. So that's why we're keeping an eye on it. I think it's in the right sector too, and fascinating as I see to see finally the junior resource stocks getting some notice there, and yours already had, obviously, with still more to come. Jason, thanks so much for taking time.
Mike, my pleasure to be on with you. I look forward to the next time.